And that's not
Who was
moral.
the guy who said that they wanted to hear a question like about the hardest question? Who's the guy who said they wanted to hear a question which like refuted this view of morality?
Me, I wanted to hear it.
Well, I don't really understand the question because I think the question reduces down to I want to hear a question asked to Tjump where imposition of will isn't imposition of will. Is that what you're asking?
No, he's asking for like a self-contradiction in my model where
Exactly.
it leads to a problem that is within the model itself. So it's like shows it's incoherent, shows it just didn't think out the moral consequences.
By way of something like, hey, what about rape? Is that the idea?
By showing like there's a contradiction in imposition. So there's like
Yeah.
a way to have an imposition that's not an imposition, or a way to have an imposition that would be good, or a way to have an imposition or a non-imposition.
That's exactly
that would be bad.
you just described exactly what I said.
No,
I think
you
you need a really well worked out.
I think the question reduces down to I want to hear a question asked to Tjump where imposition of will isn't imposition of will. Is that what you're asking?
No.
You need a really well worked out system or analysis of what it means to will something, because somebody could be drunk, somebody could be acting out or crazy and say, oh, I don't care if you kill me. And then now all of a sudden you can be killed.
Tjump, maybe you misheard me. I thought you just said like an example where something's an imposition where it isn't. And when I came in, I said an imposition of a will that's not an imposition of will. So maybe you misheard me. Maybe I misspoke. But that's what I said.
Maybe just misunderstood what you were saying. So yeah, it's asking for a self-contradiction of some kind.
I just have one other question to try to understand your model fully.
An example of a situation where it's an imposition. Well, it's like an imposition of will, allegedly, that isn't an imposition of will, right?
Is that? Didn't we also hear that beep?
Yeah,
I heard a beep.
I briefly heard it. Yes.
So he's asking for a way in which imposition of will is a good thing. That would be a self-contradiction in my model. If there is a moral or a good imposition of will. So if that's what you meant, that would be correct. I
don't understand that because a moral thing is the lack of imposition of will, or not even that, right? Moral is imposition of will with just not even without any prescription. So I don't know what it means to find an imposition of will with respect to a lack of imposition of will or morality.
An imposition of will that is morally good. He's asking for in my model something that it says in my model this is morally good, and this is an imposition of will in my model where it says both of those things.
An imposition of will that is morally good, and by morally
you mean if you could find one of those, it breaks his model, is what you're saying.
Yeah, then it doesn't work, and then I don't care for it.
Yeah, but moral means imposition of will, right?
Yeah, that's the point. So if in my model that you find something where it says moral means imposition of will, but it's also moral to impose on this person's will, that's a contradiction. That's what he's asking. Is there any such contradiction in my model?
I think there's one. So let's say two guys are grappling. Are they both being immoral, or are they both being moral?
So in the best of all possible worlds, it's impossible to force anyone into this situation without consent. For them to be grappling, they would both have to consensually agree to be in this situation.
Well, can't they have both just rushed at each other willingly?
No,
all you're doing, B3, is arguing about what's an imposition of will. Why are you doing that?
No. I'm saying I'm trying to find an example of a good imposition of will, because these guys grappling are both imposing their will.
Wait, what does good mean here then?
Yeah, no. We don't know their will. Like that's also like you haven't defined what their will is here, which is like central to the whole.
Well, their will is to get the other guy off.
I think he thinks hitting him is an imposition.
Well, Tjump doesn't have any prescriptions in this. It's just a moral act or an immoral act is just one that involves or does not involve imposition of will, right?
We're trying to find a good act that involves an imposition of will.
What does good mean? What does good mean?
Oh, you have to make sure that it's
a voluntary assistance of will. Voluntary assistance of will is moral. Involuntary imposition of will is immoral.
Right.
Right, so what about the grappling? That means you just didn't understand the model.
I feel like in the grappling example, they're both doing good and bad at the same time.
No, your grappling example doesn't start with anything. So start in the best of all possible worlds. So everybody's in their own universe. They can do whatever they want. How do they get into the situation? Did they both consensually agree to come to the same universe where they could grapple? Then it's moral.
Yes. Sure, sure.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
more.
then it's
They're,
moral.
they're morally doing things they morally consider to do.
Wait, but when you say moral, it's moral. Does that mean morally good or just moral?
Moral and good are synonyms.
Moral
it-
and
It's morally good.
Moral.
Let's just say that it's morally good. Yes.
But I'm still okay. I guess I see your answer, Tjump, because they voluntarily agreed to it. Then it's in
That is
accord
their
with their
will.
will too.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. What about a fight that sort of just breaks out? That's not like previously
How did this
agreed to?
occur in the best of all possible worlds?
I didn't realize that your moral system depended on the best of all possible worlds.
That's just
like,
a way
as
to
other-
answer all moral questions. So if you want to answer a moral question and say, how does this apply in my model? Well, okay, so if we're in the best of all possible worlds where it's impossible, like where the moral perfection has been achieved, how would this occur?
Can I say something?
Sure, go for it.
I kill and eat children.
Did they
All right,
consent to it?
and
No.
you're put in the fucking audience. That's another
I
thing.
just
You
think
are.
there's like equivocation, like abounding here.
I had a just clarifying question. Do you think it's immoral? You said before that it's immoral for a rock to hit you on the head, but what about
Yep.
for you to kick a rock? Is that immoral to the rock?
No.
Or?
It's only things
There
that
is no
impose on
will
wills.
with the rock, right?
Rocks don't have wills. So
Okay,
It's moral.
How is that a question?
it's immoral for a
because
rock to
you
impose
said
on your
earlier that
will.
if a rock falls on your head, the rock is immoral.
Because it
No,
imposes
he
on
didn't.
someone's
He
will.
said
Yeah, no,
reality
that's-
was immoral.
Yeah, so the rock
Yeah.
itself isn't immoral. The nature is immoral. So the way nature is, the rules that allow it for a rock to fall on you without consent is immoral compared to a different
Oh, okay.
universe that did not have those rules, had a different set of rules where it was not possible.
Okay, that makes things more clear. Okay, I'm just
So, yes.
fascinated by this. That's why I'm asking these questions, because I want to see how
But
the
don't-
system.
Well,
Don't
just
you
fully
just
work out.
listen for a bit because you've messed up a couple things that he was very
No,
clear.
Why are we
I
call?
understand
Why call
it-
it
I understand
morality?
it better
I mean,
now.
why? I don't understand.
Morality
The
refers to the
morals-
feelings we have when we see babies being punched. We say, oh, that gives us a bad feeling. That feeling is the moral feeling. So anything that explains those feelings is a model of morality.
Right, but I mean, don't you support that by pointing to what you call moral progress?
Yeah, that's the feelings. Those are the changes in the feelings over time.
And moral means imposition of will.
That's the conclusion.
I thought moral means imposition.
So
Moral means the feelings.
morality is the feelings we have. The word morality originates from the fact that we
Okay.
have feelings.
So
Good
if we have, I got it. So when we observe moral progress, we're observing feelings. When we see stuff progress, what does that mean?
It means there's a particular change in the feelings across time and cultures. This pattern, there's a very specific pattern of change that we see.
Yeah, and why do you dub it progress as to simply?
It's just a
as
label.
opposed-
What you dub it makes no difference. The pattern is there regardless of what you label it.
Well, I think progress has built into it some kind of idea.
Progress is a
of,
label.
like,
It makes no
going-
difference if you call it progress or regress. The pattern is there. It's
That's-
going in a very specific straight line. It doesn't matter what you call the line. The line is there, whether you want to
We can call it
progress or
zoop-de-doo-dah.
regress.
I don't care. You know, I'm just
Yes,
saying.
it doesn't matter what you call it. The line is there. The
I agree.
pattern is there. So what you call it doesn't make a difference. Calling it
Okay,
progress
I'm-
is
I have a
irrelevant to the
problem.
model.
I'm just asking
Here's
what
a
you.
here's a problem.
I'm just asking what you mean by it. I mean, so in my when I
Progress
hear
is
the
just a
word,
label. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a label for the line going in a direction. You arrow, direction, progress.
and just to be clear, there's no implication of like the correct direction or the right
No,
direction.
it's just a
going
label.
a
It's
direction.
a label. It's going in a specific direction. There is a pattern. We're going to label this pattern progress.
Okay, so
And that's
Tjump,
synonymous
you said-
with any direction. It's just going a direction.
It's like the hysteresis of
No.
intuition.
So we have an intuition that this is good, so we label it progress. So this seems to
So anything that
follow
goes in that
our
direction is
intuition.
progress.
We have an intuition that's good, but
This is how all labeling works. Like we think, oh, my bank account is going up. Well, why is up good? Because I like it. That's why I'm going to label it with positive words and not negative words. It doesn't matter if
I
it's
have an
progress
issue.
or regress. It objectively exists regardless of what you call it. Like I don't want to be stabbed. If one guy is stabbing me, and then if like two different people are stabbing me, suppose, and then one guy comes along, takes all their swords out, and he stabs me, it's still bad. I'm still being stabbed. So
Yeah, I'm just trying to
maybe-
find out If it multiplies, or
what's
if it
happened is that one guy has now taken on all the immorality himself. He is still doing all of the immoral things personally, rather than so other people are no longer doing immoral things. So he stopped some group of people from doing immoral things, and now he's doing the immoral things. He's just transferred the immoral things to himself.
Right.
So-
Right.
So, like, if there's a guy stabbing you and B33 comes along and stops him, is he imposing on the stabber's
Yes.
will? So
So nothing's
it would,
changed.
so it would be immoral for me to come along and pull B3 off of you while he's stabbing you.
Yeah, but it would also be moral because I'd be my will to stop him. So it's
But
more moral.
But it is a wash, right? It's a wash.
Well, no. So
No,
it's
just-
significantly
you still
more
have
moral.
the same number of acts of
The
imposition.
acts are not all equal. So saving someone's
Okay.
life from being stabbed is helping will significantly more than stopping someone from wanting to stab someone. The desire to want to stab someone is not as significant as saving someone's life.
Then I think you'd be forced to agree with me that in a world of anarchy, a benevolent dictator is better.
No. I mean, well, maybe like if you're just saying it's less bad. It's less bad to have a benevolent
Well, that's what
dictator.
better.
than to
Yeah,
have,
that's what I mean by better.
So you're arguing
maybe by some
for
minuscule amount,
classical
it is
utilitarianism.
less bad.
Interesting.
So maybe
interesting.
what's it? Anarchist communism is worse than Hitler. Like, okay, fine.
So let's say like I come across a dark alley and someone's raping a woman. Now
Yes, it
I
would
want
be
to
technically
figure
immoral
out
to
my
stop them,
play.
but it's very, very moral to stop them. So it's immoral to
Right, well,
hurt
that's
the
what I was
guy,
gonna ask.
and
Wait, wait, wait.
really, really
let
moral
me
to
finish.
help.
It's not just that simple, Tjump.
Okay.
So in order to actually hash that out, I need to know how bad she doesn't like it and how
No, you
bad
don't.
he doesn't. Why not?
Because that would say justified. Your ignorance is a part of the justification. You can
There's
make
even
the
a
best
worse
guess.
objection, though. There's even a worse objection. So let's say you come along, a guy raping a woman, and then you kill him. You've definitely done a higher imposition of will by killing than he was by raping.
Nope, that's also justified. Self-defense.
It's not self-defense.
Self-defense. No,
That is.
a woman didn't
still
self-defense.
justified.
No, self-defense means that you defend yourself.
Self-defense applies to yourself or others. You are allowed to kill in self-defense if it is in protection of yourself or others.
That'd be
it wouldn't
others'
be
defense.
self-defense. Yeah.
Still
No,
self-defense.
it's still called self-defense.
Whatever. Who cares what we call it? The point is that there's a higher imposition of will in taking a life than in raping.
No, because the person you're saving is the victim. So they have higher priority, higher
so what
moral
if-
priority.
So what if they're merely pickpocketing?
Why?
Well, then
In
it
this
would be
scenario,
immoral to
I'm
kill
not
them.
looking
Yes.
more at the
So if
consequences of your
if
action.
someone's pickpocketing and you kill them, that would definitely not be a justified immoral action. That would just be an immoral action.
It seems like really difficult to weigh these things, but I understand.
The killing
guys,
thing
give-
is justified
give
because
Limpy.
you're like the killing would be unjustified if you had a way to stop him without doing that and without putting yourself or others at risk. So if you could just like tase him or something and you chose to kill him instead, that would be immoral.
But now you're introducing all these degrees that are hard
There
to
are
define.
degrees. These are not problems. These are very simple. This is not hard to understand.
I just don't understand why you would adhere to this without any evidence for your hypothesis.
There is evidence. So morality is the feelings, the moral intuition, moral progress we have. That's what morality, the word morality refers to. And the best model is the one that can describe those feelings, create a principle, make predictions, best explain the philosophical distinctions, moral dilemmas. There's lots of evidence. That's how you assess any morality.
There's evidence for your hypothesis.
I just
what
explained it to
morality
you.
is?
I just explained it to you. Like literally just said, morality is these feelings. This is the phenomenon. The best model is one that can explain this phenomenon. Very simple.
Well, the reason I wanted to clarify because I think I was in your chat and I said to you, objective morality hasn't been demonstrated, so I guess there's no
like
evidence
empirical
for
evidence.
it.
There's
and
no
you
empirical evidence.
And you answered correct. It's a hypothesis.
Yeah, there's no empirical evidence. So if you want a demonstration, an empirical demonstration, we don't have that yet.
Right. So there's no evidence for your hypothesis.
So there's
on
no
moral-
empirical
objective
demonstration. So
morality.
you don't. That's not all evidence is empirical demonstration.
So you do have
There's also
evidence.
another.
Yes, I have logical consistency evidence.
So
to
why did
model
you
that
tell me
explains
that
the
you
data.
had no evidence?
Because you asked for empirical evidence, you idiot.
No, I didn't. I said
Yes, you did. In your question, that's literally what you asked for. Do you have any demonstrable evidence? What does demonstrate mean, you idiot? Stop asking questions.
No, I said objective morality hasn't been demonstrated.
Demonstrated is what the fuck do you think demonstrated means? Holy shit, demonstrated. What does that mean?
To show it.
Yes, like empirical evidence.
Like, how do you demonstrate something without evidence?
Holy shit! Get out.
How do you handle the problem of knowing people's
Well, that's going to be a
will, for
video
example?
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine.
How do you handle the issue of like knowing people's will?